like the professor. They used to snatch the second and change right off the dresser. Ancestors came in American form, think they was born Negroes with Indian corn. Same tribe that's addicted to tobacco and porn. The worldly ways you be seeing, the kingdom is formed. I'm at the wedding MCing and weather the storm. Red or blue or red van, whatever was warm. Follow the leader, with every leader out here fronting. I'm subscribed to myself, so I ain't saying nothing. Roll Cushton, George Bush pushed the button. This is not a podcast. I'm not Joe Budden. What? What? I ain't Joe Budden. This ain't no podcast. It's real life. It's Hood X. 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
My son's sitting on $250,000. My wife still working bag fields with $100 bills. This that link that got Christ killed. And if that mean I get the kingdom in the end, let the blood spill. Virgo moon spin Mercury. I use Aquarian swords when I do surgery. Your insurgency is not emergency. I treat it like a nursery. The fabricated lies that you swore was all perjury. Left hand on the Bible like currency. I stole all the truth off the book like it was burglary. Alchemy turned blood fire like niacin. I saw the beast come out the sea
Like a Leviathan.
Astral plane dimensions transpiring. And on the seventh day, I'ma rest like a retirement. She tried to lie with forbidden fruit, but I could never swallow lies because I'm spitting the truth. Look.
What up, peoples? So, we got the black hole lake. Black hole lake. There's a black hole somewhere. So, like, right now you see me, right? I'm in front of you, you know. But when I'm not in front of you, you know what I'm saying? I go into what's called a black hole. Now, most people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, you don't really think of it like this. But like, say it's somebody that came along that you like, that had an effect on you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who put you into knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Somebody put you on game or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Who showed you something that you ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, who put you on to some type of new game. So a lot of times it should be on the internet. So like, it don't necessarily be face to face a lot of times. But like, say you actually ran into somebody like face to face who put you on game. You're saying then like it's a long time to go by. You're saying that you don't see this person, or y'all fall out of contact, whatever. You know what I'm saying? What happened with a lot of times, people's mind go into what's called a black hole. You so let me show you. Like, there's the black hole there. So when subconscious puts black holes, once that person walks out of your eyesight, sometimes when we don't see people for a while and we fall into new knowledge, we assume that our friends and family in a black hole doing nothing. So like, when I'm not going live, let me fix this shit. When I'm not going live, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times it may seem like I'm in a black hole. Like I ain't just doing nothing. Like I'm just, like I ain't really walking around a real person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I only exist to y'all when I'm on this motherfucking video. You know what I'm saying? Some people mind work like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about certain celebrities like fucking, I don't know, like Barack Obama right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Barack Obama ain't really trending in the news. So I'm saying, so like in your mind, Barack Obama is just sitting in a black hole somewhere, like doing nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not really walking around in 3D in this world still existing. Like, so I'm saying, that's how it be like George Bush. You think about George Bush. Like, what the fuck happened to George? Like George Bush, the president before Obama. You know what I'm saying? Like, where the fuck is he at? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's sitting up in a black hole in your mind right now. You know what I'm saying? And like, this happened a lot with like I say, mostly I'm putting it in context of people who put you on game. You know what I'm saying? Or like people who, a lot of times when situations run out, you try to put, like there's somebody trying to introduce knowledge to somebody else, or vice, you know what I'm saying? Vice versa, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then they fall out. You know what I'm saying? And they not building. Like you're supposed to build. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to continuously add on. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is a lot of times, motherfuckers be looking at people like they in a black hole. Like, oh, you only exist when you standing here right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So this is a lot of the cats who I studied up under, man, like Phil Valentine. You know what I'm saying? I studied under Professor Griff. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Hemmett. You know, a lot of these dudes, like it's Bobby Hemmett, perfect example. Like, don't nobody know where the hell Bobby Hemmett at. You know what I'm saying? And then like, you know what I'm saying, his videos are still out here on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, his fourth dimensional self is still out here floating. But you're like, man, where the fuck is Bobby Hemming at? Where the fuck is Bill Valentine? You know what I'm saying? So like these people still exist. You know what I'm saying? They still walking around. You know what I'm saying? Just like me, I'm still walking around. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just some type of, I'm not just an idea sitting up in your head. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with a black hole, you know what I'm saying? You think of people like I say, Phil Valentine, Bobby Hemming. You know what I'm saying? Not even that, just people in general. That's like even rappers, certain singers, certain artists, actors, and stuff like this. They become literally an idea, like in your head instead of a real person. You know what I'm saying? Um, so my air signs really work. Like me, I'm an air sign. So I'm saying I found myself doing this shit a lot. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I kind of tend to think of people like an idea more so than you know what I'm saying who they really are. You know what I'm saying? So like this will the black hole shit. You know what I'm saying? So we live in a three-dimensional world. You know what I'm saying? But when people talk, the sound of their voice and stuff like this play out two-dimensional in people's heads. You know what I'm saying? So a key indicator for somebody who you know what I'm saying? Like you got people who fall into a black hole, and you got people who like literally play out a fantasy inside of somebody's head. So I'm saying a lot of times me, I play in a black hole. Like people don't think about me. Like you know what I'm saying? People think an idea of me more so than me. Like, and also too, like you see me sitting here, right? You only see like from my waist up, you see my butt, you see my head. You don't necessarily see my feet. You know what I'm saying? So like when you think of somebody in your mind's eye and you see their feet, like you see their whole body. Mind you, Pisces ruled by the feet. It's the end. So I'm saying, so like when typically you probably think of me, you think of me just like this. Like you see my face, you may see my hands. You don't think of my whole body standing up. Like so I'm saying, my whole body is not sitting up inside your mind's eye. So I'm saying, but when you fantasize about somebody, typically they whole body, you're gonna see their whole body. You're gonna see their head, the feet, the hair, everything, like sitting up inside your mind. So like stuff like that. When you're dealing with fantasy, it's less black hole, more fantasy. You see the whole. You don't really think of people like that. So especially somebody you're attracted to. Like you're saying, a lot of times you're gonna see their whole body up in your mind's eye. You know what I'm saying? So and mind you too, man. Like I had to stop. I had to stop looking at people like ideas and shit too, and start looking at people like what I'm saying for who they really are. You know what I'm saying? I really this took a lot of practice for me because people was looking at me like that. Like I run into people later on. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I talk about receptivity on this page a lot. Like a lot of the shit I talk about, people just not like mind you in 3D when I'm talking to people one on one. A lot of times people just don't be receptive to the shit I be saying. You know what I'm saying? I kind of see that, so I don't say shit. You know what I'm saying? I be kind of quiet sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of just fall into a black hole inside their mind. You know what I'm saying? Is invisible. And mind you too, like if you read John 3, Christ when he told Nicodemus, you know what I'm saying? He told him he was like Joe, like. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're born again, you can't even see the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of my best traits, a lot of, the things that's important to me are invisible. You know what I'm saying? And unseen. You know what I'm saying? And then like you try to explain these things to people, or people just not gonna see. Like me standing next to somebody I ain't never met, they don't know the shit that I know. You see what I'm saying? So like a lot of times you by default you already be a black hole in people's minds until you go and say something. So I'm saying, so like a lot of times now I don't really say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I already kind of know. I'll be like, man, I'm just like an idea. I'm like a black hole up inside people's minds. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's better to be that way. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're talking about the things I'm just talking about, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I personally, I go on this page and talk about why I hate this sign, and get thousands and thousands of views. Saying, come on, talk about spiritual, spiritual words in the Bible, stuff like this. There's very few amount of hits. You know what I'm saying? So like shit like that. It's like black hole shit. Like, the more I don't say commercial, but like a lot of times the more negative, you know what I'm saying, the energy is, the more, you know what I'm saying, people kind of draw to it. You know what I'm saying? The more it's like the more positive energy, a lot of times, people think they already kind of know. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or like, it don't hit as good as negative. I give you a perfect example too. Like you look at what's going on with young Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? He's been in jail, you know what I'm saying, shooting up his wife's house, threatening his lawyer, all that type of shit. And like you got, you know what I'm saying, dozens and I would say hundreds of people putting out videos on young Pharaoh every day. You know what I'm saying? And like the train wreck and the madness and all of the chaos that's going on in his life. You got people putting out content like that every day. You know what I'm saying? So like somebody like him, it's like it's harder for him somebody like him or person like you think about too, like brother Polite, things going on with him. So I'm saying people like that, you know what I'm saying, they get sensationalized. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people like me, you know what I'm saying, or like know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with, like, especially like the word, man, you're dealing with the kingdom of God. A lot of stuff like that don't get, a lot of times they do it fall like a black hole. Like, ain't nobody going, you know what I'm saying, make a bunch of videos talking about the things that I'm talking about in this video. You know what I'm saying? That stuff like that don't get sensationalized the way that, like, you know what I'm saying, crazy shit do. So, you know what I'm saying, I understand a lot of times I'll be like a black hole. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like an idea, you know what I'm saying, sitting up in people's heads. Whereas, like, you know, other YouTube personalities would be more crazy shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Dumb people be more like a fantasy. So I'm saying, sitting up inside people's heads. You know what I'm saying? So pay attention what you pay attention to, for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying? Because um, you know, a lot of the best ideas, a lot of the best traits get treated like black holes. You know what I'm saying, in your mind. Whereas, like, a lot of the bullshit get pushed to the front. You know what I'm saying? You spend more time entertaining bullshit than entertaining, you know what I'm saying, um, real shit. So I'm saying, I hope that makes sense. So on that note, I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna make the video too long. I'ma holler at y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video. You dig?